Slob's back, so there's a bonus midweek video this week, and today I'm bringing Fableds to the playmat. So a theme coming out of Hidden Arsenal, Fableds are a spammy discard synchro deck that completely dies to Nibiru. And as Gargagar went down like a house on fire, I'm doubling down and doing another niche archetype. So to prevent this video from reaching over the 15-minute mark, which I'm swearing it's not going to happen, let's dive right in. Chawa. So Chawa's discard Fabled monster, special summon itself. So it's a great little play starter and a discard outlet as well. It's also a tuner, so it enables all of our starting plays. From there we've got 3 Fabled Lurrie. So Lurrie, like a lot of the other Fableds, is special summon when it's discarded. So again, it's a great extension and pairs perfectly well with Chawa in terms of being able to get a Link monster on board or any of your level 2 synchro monsters. So again, there's Cerburrel, which I'm running 3 of, and this is another one that's a special summon if discarded. The benefit of this one is that it's a tuner, so if you compare it with any of the other discards outlets, you get your tuner on board and everything starts kicking off. From there we've got another 3, I'm running 3 Fabled Nozoochee. So Nozoochee is, you can discard a Fabled monster, special summon the card, and then it can also special summon a level 2 or lower Fabled monster from your hand. And again, it's just a great little starting play. From there we're running 3, the Fabled Ganashia. And Ganashia is another one that's a special summon if discarded. So it's got a really cute fiend being squashed by an elephant. So again, he's just a great extender, and if you have him in hand, you always know that he's not far away from being able to get on the board. I'm running 1 Kushano. So Kushano goes well with some of the other consistency enablers, shall we say, that I've got in the deck. So he's a tuner, and you can discard a Fabled monster when he's in the graveyard to add him back from the graveyard. What's really good about him is he's not once per turn, which means that as soon as you've kind of got him in the graveyard, you've got a continuous discard outlet. So from there we're running 3 Searcher, and the Fabled Grimro. So Grimro is, you can send it from your hand to the graveyard in order to search for a Fable card, so long as you've got a Fable card on board. I think Grimro's definitely got worse over time, and I think that it could probably be cut from the build, but searching is always great, and the ability to pick which monsters you'd want to have is obviously great. So that's all the Fable monsters that I'm running in the main deck. From there we're running some kind of Fiend and some engine cards. So we're running 2 Tour Guide from the Underworld. So Tour Guide from the Underworld can pluck out a number of different things from our deck. Kushano is always a good one. It's probably the best normal summon that we have in the deck, and it's kind of it's a 1 card starter. Then we're running Stygian Street Patrol and Edge Imp Sabres. So Edge Imp Sabres is another target from Tour Guide from the Underworld, or if it's dumped to the graveyard is also an extender. And the same can be true for Stygian Street Patrol, although not being a Tour Guide from the Underworld target. Getting Stygian to the graveyard allows you to extend further. From there we've got a couple of engine cards. So we've got Mecha Phantom Beast Orion and Jet Synchron. So these are part of our kind of opening combo, and obviously there's a lot of meta decks running around with both these cards in, and I think Jet Synchron is headed directly for the ban list at the moment, which is sad to say. From there we're running 3 Hand Traps, and I'm running 3 Effect Veiler. Again, you could kind of pick what you want, but we're running, it's actually a searchable card in this deck, which is decent. Obviously you could run like DD Crow if you prefer that as well, but Veiler's a decent enough hand trap. Alright, so jumping on into the spells. So we've got 3 Pot of Avarice. So this seems like a lot, and it probably is, but you churn through cards, well, monsters particularly, at an absolute monstrous pace. So not just the draw, but the resetting of kind of the extra deck and the monsters that you've got in the graveyard is crucial. It's just a great extender, and if you can perform your opening combo, then Pot of Avarice becomes live. So it's never a bad thing to see it. It's also not once per turn, so you can just spam it out as much as you want, as long as you've got the capability to do so. From there, we've got a few consistency card, which is the Void Apocalypse. So again, this is a new one out of Eternity Code. So discard a card, which will enable our Fabled cards to go off. So it's a discard outlet. Send a Fiend type monster to the graveyard. So this is a number of different things. Kushano access, which is great because it allows us to, you know, kind of get that not once per turn discard from hand. You could also go for Edge Imp Sabres if you need the extension, or Stygian Street Patrol again if you need that extension. So from there we're running 3 Call by the Graves. So I think one of the things is, once your opponent has seen what the board that you produce once, they will know exactly where to hit it. Assuming they don't have a Nibiru, but you know, your combo as it goes along will, you know, could be stopped by a single hand trap, especially if you don't have any extenders. So from there we're running a couple of other consistency cards, which is Where Arf Thou. And I've toyed with this being at 3, so this is I suppose an unusual search card, which is if you control a level 1 card, you can search for a level 1 card. So that includes like Effect Veil or something like that. If you don't normal summon that card, you take 2000 damage in the end phase, but obviously that's a price well worth paying. So from there, the final spell card is Monster Reborn. So again, it's just generically good. So onto the extra deck. So again, I'm going to try and blast through these. So we've got 1 Formula Synchron. So again, he's part of our kind of like starting play, which is most of the time what we're going to be kind of angling through. He's easy to access as level 2 tuner, and obviously the draw is quite good. So then we've got Double Star Shaman. So Double Star Shaman you don't see as often. He's also a level 2 Synchro tuner, and he can also special summon up to 4 level 2 non-tuner monsters, which unfortunately Nozoochee is the only one that meets this criteria, but again, even that alone is worth playing to. Then there's our level 3, we've got Metal Marcher. So Metal Marcher again has become more common in the meta, but he's a level 3 and he can special summon a tuner back when he's summoned. I think one of the things that you've got to remember is when you use Metal Marcher is the monster that you synchro into also becomes a tuner monster, because that's if you lose track of that, it can catch you out. From there, running 1 Herald of the Arclight. It's, you know, a macro-esque effect on legs, and it's also a negate. It's not got a huge body, so most of the time what it's doing is really ripping your opponent from having a battle phase. You've got to be kind of careful with Herald of the Arclight there, because it does disrupt. It disrupts yourself as well, so anything you're sending from your hand to the graveyard also gets banished, which means that it can disrupt our discard outlets. So again, I think a recommendation is to kind of go to Arclight towards the end of your combo. So now we've got 2 level 5s, and what Synchro deck would we be without? TG Hyper Librarian. He's exceedingly good. Drawing a card every time a monster is synchro summoned is obviously incredible, and the amount of resource that you can accrue from him just from 1 turn is unreal. And then we've got Fabled Ragin, and Ragin I think could probably be anything you want it to be. Whenever he's synchro summoned, should I say, if you have 1 or less cards in your hand, draw cards until you have 2 cards in your hand. So combine a TG Hyper Librarian, you can be drawing 3 just from a TG and a Ragin. I think you don't go to him nearly as much as you used to. From there we've got a level 6, which is Crocodragon. So Crocodragon we're mostly using to climb up, as it's a Synchro tuner, and whenever it's sent to the graveyard you can draw 1 card. But his main effect, even that, you know, once per turn discard a card, target 1 card your opponent controls and destroy it. It's a discard outlet, it's a destruction as well, so you know, if you need it to be, it can be more than just the draw. From there we've got a couple of cards that we're going to be trying to end on. So that's FA Dawn Dragster. So level 7, so allows us to kind of, you know, use what we've got on board to kind of hit our targets basically. You kind of need a level 7 that you're going to end on. Again, Spell and Trap Disruption's obviously good. Crystal Ring Synchro Dragon, similar thing, just for monster effects, and obviously is a really solid card as well. Borreload Savage Dragon to kind of finish off that kind of trio. So Borreload Savage Dragon, you could probably cut again, but I think if you got to this point and you're thinking, oh, I really want to budget this deck out, this deck isn't really the one for you. But yeah, if you were desperate for it, I know that Borreload Savage Dragon is an expensive card, so you could cut it for something else, especially, you know, a level 8 or so. And Crystal Ring Synchro Dragon mostly does a similar job, but 90% of the time going to the Savage Dragon is going to be better. And then finally, for number 9, we've got the new Crocodragon. So, you know, draw when he's summoned. Normally that's only going to be 1, but it's still very solid. And then you can discard 2 cards to target 1 card in the field and destroy it. So he's Disruption and Draw in the same instance, and he's also a discard element. So that's our Synchro monsters. And then we're running a busted Halqifibrax package. So that's 1 Linkross. So Linkross is new out of Eternity Code, and he uses a link 2 or higher, and then summons a number of tokens up to the link rating of the monster that was used to link summon for it. Again, multiple token summoning is absolutely bust, and I think Linkross as well, some of the other cards in this link zone are destined for the ban list, and even just straight up banned. So then we've got our starter, which is Halqifibrax, or aka Needle Fiber. So special summon level 3 or lower tuner from the deck is just generically super solid, and again I think if he lasts until the end of the year, well, maybe he will last until the end of the year and everything else around will just get banned, but I think he deserves to be banned at some point. Then we've got Barricadeborg Blocker. So this is mostly because the tokens that you generate from Linkross can't be linked away, and you need to be able to get to a machine. So it's generic, and it's machine, which allows you to go to Mecha, Phantom Beast, Auroradon, and again another nuts card, mostly because O-Line is such a great card, but when he's summoned, you summon 3 tokens, and you can tribute 1 token to destroy a card on the field, 2 to special summon the Mecha Phantom Beast monster from your deck, which is the one that you're using most of the time because you summon O-Line, and then 3 is add 1 trap card from your deck to your hand, which is, I think, most people will never be using. But yeah, getting O-Line out with 2 tokens is just unreal good. So, Fables, in conclusion, Fables are one of my favourite decks to solitaire. When you draw a million cards, you feel like a Yu-Gi-Oh god. What I would say is the end boards are not, you know, unbreakable, but they've never been more consistent to make than they are at the moment. So something new I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and kind of put the price up. So based on TCG player, the price of this deck is about $300, which is quite a considerable amount for a deck that is not meta defining. In terms of the other ratings, I would say I'm giving it 4 out of 5 slugs for how fun it is. I think, as I said before, like the solitaire aspect of it and stuff like that is obviously super enjoyable. Obviously your opponent might not feel the same way. And then its chances against the meta or its meta relevance, I'm going to give it 1 out of 5 slugs. So I think, as I've said, the hand trap kind of vulnerability is crucial, and you know there are other decks that will produce similar boards than to Fabled, but not quite as dramatically die to the hand trap. So those things should be displayed on screen around here somewhere anyway. So there, right, okay, so we're done. The madness of Halqifibrax is not going to be around forever. The cards that in the current build that I've got here are not going to make it. So if you're a Fabled fan, there's never really been a better time to put this deck together. Alright guys, well let me know what your Fabled decks are. I'm guessing there's not that many Fabled duelists around, but we'll see how it goes. Alright, until the next one. Cheers.